And now we go live stream. And we're live. I'm sure we're live because this is one of those things where it says
Yeah.
we're not, but I think it is. It'll click in any second. So if you're seeing this now, and now we're live. There we go. Woj, welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I got to turn off the volume on this YouTube video because it's throwing me off like crazy. Um, anyway, thank you everyone for being here. Welcome to I Heard They Stream Live number 6. Woj and I are back again to talk about bullshit that does not affect the real world in any way, shape, or form. And Woj, how you doing?
Good, man. But I hate to startle you, but don't look now. Act normal. But behind you is the escaped possessed doll, Annabelle. And I just want you to be aware of that. At any moment, it could come and either possess you and or kill you during this live stream.
I sold all my records, and this is my new shit. Just like
Uh,
weird books from the Harvard Library and Annabelle the doll. No, I'm at Lauren's aunt's house, but fear not, I have found three things for our new three things segment. And actually, I think I found cooler shit here than I have at home. So we'll share that towards the end of the show. But we are here, which means unfortunately we got to start this off with a bit of a sad note, which is Bill Chamberlain from the band Caustic Christ, aka Bill Christ, passed away. You may know him from the band React. You may know him from Mankind. You may know him from The Pissed. One of the coolest ever. I met him years ago when Fucked Up played with Caustic Christ a few times and always punished him about Connecticut stuff. A super cool dude. Yeah, and actually, I love Caustic Christ. I went back and re-listened to some Caustic Christ stuff too, and a solid dude. Made some incredible music over the years, and a friend of a lot of people. So, thoughts go out to anyone who's friends with Bill or anybody that was a fan of all the music he made. It's maybe a little too crusty for you, Woj.
no, I mean my first first or second girlfriend had a pissed quote on her, like with a windshield of her car. I forget what it was, but that gives you any idea of the kind of, pool I was fishing out of in my early exploits. But yeah, he was from Connecticut. He wasn't from PA.
No, he was from Connecticut originally, and then relocated to PA. I think after Piss broke up.
Oh, okay.
I love the Pissed. Like I was
Yeah.
a big fan of them. I think Martin from Career Suicide actually got me into them
Mm.
originally because yeah, I was like kind of one of those people that had seen them on a lot of people's patches, seen them on
Hmm.
a lot of jackets, and just assumed a lot of bands I made assumptions about as a young punk kid because I saw them on patches or jackets and assumed they were like of one sound or another. But they were a band that I fell in love with, collected a bunch of their records over the years, and when I got to meet them, just punished the shit out of them about it, like like crazy. So yeah, rest in peace, Bill, and thoughts go out again to anyone who's misses him right now. A great dude and a huge presence that's going to be missed. Speaking of huge presences that's going to be missed, though, Ozzy Osbourne also passed away, which I'm sure we've all talked about or heard people talk about at length by this point. By the time you're seeing this or hearing this, but the key takeaway for me is that now I will never be able to ask him about Earth Crisis.
Oh yeah, there's that picture of him with them, right?
He also put them on the Ozfest compilation, where there's a live Earth Crisis track.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's like 97, 98, maybe.
Well, wasn't there a thing where was it Shutdown? Some band got kicked off of Ozfest and they said it was because Sharon said they were straight edge and that's a cult.
Maybe it was Earth Crisis.
No, it wasn't Earth Christ. Maybe, but no, I don't think so. I want to say it was like not Shutdown, sorry. What the hell's what's the band, the Throwdown.
Oh, Throwdown. That would, yeah, been a little bit later on, right?
Yeah, I think it was them. I don't know.
The Earth Crisis thing, I remember when it happening, there was like sort of a lot of scuttlebutt on early hardcore internet about how Ozzy was vegan and
Hmm.
had talked about how he was a huge fan and how important they were as a band. It was always like the thing that I'm like, if I ever meet Ozzy Osbourne, first thing I'm going to ask him about, of all the things you could ask him about, was going to
I
be,
mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, pretend you just asked me, well, yeah, you talking to me after that question, if I stole, man.
well, that's
There you go.
I think the real tragedy in the last few years for with Ozzy was finding out that physically his body was in decline, but mentally, he said, like, I'm still here. Like, I can still
Yeah.
talk. I can still, I still want to converse with people. I still want to be out there, but my body's just not holding up. So, yeah, rest in peace to Ozzy. I feel like there's nothing you could possibly say that hasn't been said right now about him other than just rest in peace. So I'm going to leave it at that. And once again, one day, I hope there's some place in the afterlife that I can talk to him about Earth Crisis.
Yeah. Hell. Did you are you familiar with the Bill Ward solo album?
I've heard of this thing, but I don't think I've actually ever heard it.
So for some reason, about a month ago, I found I like listened to the like main single off of it, and there's a music video from it, and I think Ozzy sings on two of the songs on the album, and this video, whenever it's one of those videos, like, we have Arthur Rizek in our band, and he's like straight, grew up a metal dude, and just has like these like metal guys. They just have like the opposite like inclinations of what looks cool and what, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
like the metal thing where guitar guys like pigeon toe their feet and like do this like weird like thing. Like, it looks so insane to,
Yeah.
to us, but to them, like, yes, that looks so hard, hails, and we're like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or like Man Award, like it's like, yeah, you never like,
It,
you're
it's
I'm
always
looking at this
awkward.
a certain way that is you're not looking at it.
No, metal, I think metal is like, well, it's the opposite to like punk and I guess hip hop too, where it's always about like,
Yeah,
you got to be real. It's like trying to be the most authentic version of the thing,
yeah,
where metal is just like fantasy.
yeah.
You like Dungeons and Dragons, you like people working out, you like dudes spending way too much time practicing.
But
We
it's
got
just like
a genre
that's
for
your
you.
fantasy. Like, why is that your fantasy? You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like it, the same thing wrestling kind of touches on. Sort of
Yeah,
these
yeah.
deep, kind of like locked away feelings, or anyway, we can, this is a separate conversation for
But
another.
it's a great conversation.
It's a
But
great conversation.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But anyway, like this video is just like the it's just that whole thing in a nutshell, and but and it's like I think it's late 80s. But it's like it sounds like like Queensryche kind of style. And the song is awesome. It's called Bombers. And it's like so catchy. I'm like, man, this is awesome. I'm like, I wonder what the hell it's about. Cause the half of the video is like war footage. You know what I mean? Like what you would think would be from, like a D beat video or something, like bombs dropping and stuff like that. And the video and I look up the lyrics, and the lyrics are like, listen, my son, find yourself a woman like your mother, and I'm like, what the hell? And then in the video, Ozzy's singing those lyrics like and I'm like, why is he singing like that? And these are the lyrics, like, and then it cuts to like Bill Ward's band, and they're all wearing like uh Napoleon jackets, with like the buttons going down, and they have crazy poodle hair, and they're playing like there's this thing that in Cold World we call it the "Oh my God, we're really doing it" face. Have I ever told you about that?
No, but I think I can picture the face.
Yeah, so like we'll be playing with a band that might be a younger band, and we're like, oh shit, they're doing the "well, we're really doing it" face, and it's like when two guys in the band like lock eyes with each other, and you could tell they're both thinking, "We're doing it. We're really doing it." So,
I
so
thought it was
it's
like the thing in hardcore too, where you see like a guy looking down when he's like doing a lead, and he's like almost like in shock that he's pulling off the lead. Like,
no, this is like when like the crowd is like moshing and stuff, and then you see the bass guitar and the guitar player like look over at each other like it's happening, like we're really doing it. And one of them guy does his jump and comes back down, and he's like, they look cool, right? Like
I want to introduce another face into this lexicon, which is the cold face. Are we really doing it? Look, the cold world. Are we really doing it? Look, face is where you and Alex look over at each other and just go, "What are we doing?"
yeah, I mean that's yeah. In the cold world chat with because like Dano's been like booking stuff for us, and like I completely check out until it's like 2 days before whatever show is booked, and I'm just like, hey, we're really playing this show, And he's like, what
Get
do you
back up
mean?
now.
The flights are booked. But anyway, for some reason that video I got put onto that video, and when we went and played Chicago a couple weeks ago, me and Arthur were just running that song over and over, and he was just telling me about the album and stuff. And so I think Zach Wild wrote a bunch of the songs and stuff, and we were playing the video, and I'm like, don't you see how stupid this looks? You know what I mean? Because it doesn't register to him. To him, it's just like badass. You know what I mean? But I guess it's the same thing with hardcore. You know what I mean? Like to them, our shit looks so stupid. You know?
Yeah, I think it once you take it out of the context, all of this shit's ridiculous. Like
Oh
there's
yeah,
like as we realized a couple weeks ago, there's nothing that's inherently cool.
yeah.
Not even Patrick Swayze.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm yeah, yeah. Rest in peace, Ozzy, and check out that Bill Ward song. I don't know. I still haven't listened to the whole album. I only listened to the single, but
Was there like it's like Bill Ward and Ozzy that used to tour separately, like just in an RV, just doing tons of drugs, right?
I know Bill Ward had like a really bad alcohol problem. So I don't know. Like I think when they were like recording I forget which album it was. They recorded it at they recorded or were for some reason were staying at the DuPont house, which I wonder if is that's the house where like wasn't there like something with like the DuPont murders where the guy with like the wrestler, there's like that movie about
Yeah, the guy that used to hang out with the wrestling team,
yeah.
and Kurt Angle was on that wrestling team.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Yeah,
So like I wonder if the house that they stayed in was the house that like is like, in that movie. But anyway, Bill Ward was so wasted and he's passed out, and there was gold DuPont paint in the room, and they completely covered his whole body in gold DuPont paint, and all of his pores were covered, and he almost died from it.
yeah, that's how they kill the woman in Goldfinger, right? He like paints her gold and she
Yeah.
dies. Oh my god.
Maybe they were inspired by, or wait, Goldfinger is after that?
Oh, maybe after that. Maybe yeah, Goldfinger's inspired by that. Today I'm like I'm about an hour outside of Toronto right now at my
Yeah.
wife's aunt's place. And we went to the stream. And I'm at the stream and this guy comes up to me with his dog and I'm just chatting with him. He's like, yeah, Ozzy Osbourne just passed away. And I'm like, yeah, it's so crazy. He's like, he did a lot of wild things in his life. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. Like, he's like, a lot of shit that you couldn't do nowadays. I'm like, yeah, like biting the bat and all that stuff and peeing on the Alamo. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, you can't say anything on the fucking internet anymore. You're called a racist. I'm like, wait, what? What? I'm like talking about sniffing lines of ants, sir. I don't know where you're going with this thing.
That's why we're at where we're at, man.
It was a short conversation thereafter. We stuck on Ozzy and then talked about the Blue Jays for a second, and then he walked on. I petted the dog and he left. Um, well, on to more pleasant things to discuss than the way we always start the show, unfortunately, which is episodes of the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Steve Miller from The Godly Fix and the underrated Strange Fruit. And then we're also going to be discussing Kevin Martin from the band Candlebox. And I think we're also going to talk about maybe my favorite episode ever of Turned Out a Punk, which is the Brian Walsby episode, which I put up as a Turned Out a Punk Classics, kind of getting it back in the feed. And Brian Walsby, if you have not listened to that, has the craziest resume in the history of music. Mine is Chuck Treece. That's what I warned you. I said to you, Woj, right? I gave myself the
Hmm.
caveat of Chuck Treece. You know,
Yeah.
Brian Walsby wasn't on Billy Joel records
No.
and doesn't have many connections to Hardline. So, Chuck Treece still wins in that one.
I mean, I'm bringing up Brian Walsby's Skogs.
I think I memorized it because he started drawing before he even went to his first show. He had art published in Flipside,
Hmm.
which kind of made you a little bit of a celebrity back then. He talks about on the show. He started getting like, I guess fan mail is kind of a weird way of putting it, but like correspondences from people all over the world. And then he started going to shows, and very quickly after that, he did the artwork for the Nardcore compilation for Mystic Records, and then formed Scared Straight with Scott Radinsky, the only Major League Baseball playing punk rocker who's been in a band on Fat Records. I could say a punk band, period. I don't think there's anyone else. Then he went and quit that and roadied for COC and moved to North Carolina. And then he formed the band Wax with Mac from Superchunk before Superchunk formed. That band broke up, and a kid who was coming to their shows kept giving him demos, and that's Ryan Adams. And then I think before that, though, he got a call from the Melvins asking him if he would drum in Nirvana because Dale was no longer to be drumming in Nirvana. And he, as he talked about in the episode, turned it down because he wasn't a Nirvana fan. And then played in the first Ryan Adams band, then later played in Double Negative. So he's a guy who's got like a crazy resume, done a lot of different stuff, artwork, drums, etc., and turned down being in Nirvana.
What did Wax sound like?
They're super cool. Like it's a little like scrappier than Superchunk would
Mm.
be. It's like a three piece too. There's like two 7 inches, I think. They're both worth picking up. I think there's also a CD reissue that merged it at some point with all the stuff on it. But yeah, I love all that North Carolina stuff. I guess you'd call it indie rock, but I think it's closer to sort of punk in terms of what gets taken up as indie rock now.
Yeah, early indie rock, a couple few years were more chaotic sounding, less, you know.
Yeah, and like Max always, he's was a hardcore kid going to punk shows, going to hardcore shows, and I feel like Superchunk was just his vision of what punk rock is more than like trying to do what indie rock became, where it's like you're kind of following a certain type of sound. Yeah, like I
Mhm.
love that first crop of indie rock bands because they're all people that kind of came out of punk. But you've got like Pavement, you've got Superchunk. I guess Yola Tango started earlier. It's kind of a different thing, but you've got all these bands that are kind of coming out of these hardcore scenes, punk rock scenes, and doing their like adult contemporary version of the thing. Even though Wax isn't that adult contemporary.
Yeah. I mean, Scared Straight are a cool band. I feel like they don't get really brought up much.
No, I was obsessed with that band as a kid too.
Were they like a technically a straight edge band or
No,
no?
no.
Okay.
Like I think those guys were super into Minor Threat and were all about Minor Threat thing. And I bet you Scott Radinsky didn't really drink or do drugs, but I don't think there was any sort of specific. I don't think they ever X'd up,
Hmm.
but it was
Okay.
maybe at that point before all that stuff was kind of codified.
Because they have a song drug free, right? And
Yep,
then the one record is like something about drinking.
a whole concept record, anti-drunk driving concept record,
Okay.
which I
Huh.
think in the Scott Radinsky episode, there's like one record that Mystic put out of theirs that they didn't even know was coming out. They just like, I think it's Scott Radinsky tells the story about going into a record store and looking, being like, oh my God,
Mm.
Scared Straight new Scared Straight record.
I mean, Mystic is like the OG um Lost and Found in a way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know.
Mystic is, I think, even more, I don't know, maybe more blatant than Lost and Found in some regards. Like in Lost and Found, it always seems like there's someone with some connection to the band that has signed some paperwork.
I think like the most egregious offense of like Mystic is I feel like the way they got over on all their bands is how many comps they would make.
Hmm.
The amount of comps is insane. So, I'm sure they just you're not, they're not telling you they're putting you on the comps and they're just like all the regular songs from the band's records and they're just making up different comps for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think on that Dave Markey Jordan episode, they were talking about how they just straight up stole their compilation idea and put it a volume two without telling them that they were going to do a volume two of their comp. But yeah, I think Mystic also. I think a lot of the people have talked about how there were like weird things in the contract, like you're going to be paid royalties, but in merch,
Hmm.
and never getting the merch or never
I
asking about
mean,
the merch even.
that's the current hardcore setup pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like hardcore's always operated on that way, and like, oh, we'll
Hmm.
give you 10% or 50% of the pressing of this
Or
record.
here's 100 records.
Yeah, sell them. Good luck.
Yeah. Meanwhile, years later, they're in their like 14th pressing of your record, and you haven't heard from them since.
Well, that was kind of the thing that I think Ray maybe said on his episode about Revelation,
Yeah.
and the idea like, oh my God, how many copies of these records have been sold at this point? You know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Which is, I guess we can jump to like Steve Miller
Hmm.
now for a sec, which is, I think, like being that they're kind of like the first hardcore band in the way, a lot of the ways the stuff is being set up, the economics, touring, and all that kind of stuff. So I wonder if they got 10% of the Vengeance pressing. Like, I wonder how they did it with that when you're pressing that few of the records. I guess 10% would just be 20 copies, though.
Yeah. I mean, there was 500 of those, right?
I think it's less. I think it's like 250,
Two.
right?
It's two. You're right. It's 200.
200, that one, yeah.
And I think let me make sure.
Because there's one, I think 300 of the Necros, 200 of that, maybe. Is that what it is?
Vengeance is 200. Yeah.
Cool.
Um. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Have you had a chance to buy one ever?
no. I mean, I don't know that there might have been one at like Disc Union once, but if I see it, that's so out of my, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Like I had a chance to buy one when there was no way I was going to pay $1,200 for a record.
Oh my God.
But now it's
Yeah.
uh,
Now that's a steal, man.
12,000.
Yeah.
Like it must have been on a record list. It was at a time when even me looking at a baller record, like I think the most I had spent on a record up until that point was like $100.
You know what my issue with it is? I I I have a hard time with super baller records that have like not much going on like design wise. Like if it's like a real basic looking record.
I get what you're saying, but I think that record, I don't know, I think that record looks kind of perfect.
Yeah, it does. It's a perfect looking early, it's sick. Don't get me wrong, but it's like $12,000. Like,
Yeah.
that's how much you pay for like a dope painting. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like a two color cover. I don't know.
Yeah. I think Judd from Sexvid, he got Calvin Johnson's copy.
Oh wow.
And it was like a thing where Calvin, I guess, was like, I have this record, but I know what it's worth. And this is back when it was like, $1,500, $2,000 record.
Yeah.
So he's like, can you get me these in trade for it? And it was like this crazy trade list. And Judd kind of went out and searched out all these records
Huh.
and traded for it.
What kind of records?
It was like, I'm trying to remember what it was. I would love to actually see that list now. Like some UK DIY stuff, some
Mhm.
American indie stuff. Nothing was like easy to kind of find, but it
Right.
was certainly not Fixed Vengeance level
Expensive.
of,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like Jan's room at least has like a dope insert.
Yeah.
Like Vengeance doesn't even have an insert, right?
Yeah. I had a Jan's room in my hands. I was going to buy it. And I was like, can I put it on hold till after my birthday? This is when I was like 18.
They put it on layaway.
Yeah. And I didn't pick it up in time and the guy sold it. It had a spray painted insert too. Like there's the
Yeah,
first bunch that Tesco V spray painted.
yeah, they're sick.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that stuff though was bootlegged by certain people in Detroit at one
Yeah, I
time
can
or
see
another.
that.
Like
Yeah.
the Misfit or the Negative Approach hand colored sleeve.
Mm.
Like anytime you see one of those, there's very, I don't know, maybe there's a chance that it was done by like John or someone in the band, but there's also a good chance it was done by someone in the 90s.
Yeah, possibly. And I think in the 90s they were still I feel like Touch and Go stuff, they still had like a couple boxes of, because like weren't like dead stock copies being brought out every once in a while of that shit, like up into like the late 90s, early 2000s.
There was a story about a guy in the late 90s who was getting a bunch of first press copies and hand coloring them in and then
Mm.
putting them on the market as being like the hand colored version of
Because
the
even
thing.
like the uh ancient artifacts home dude, like when I went to his crib a couple times, like he's always getting stuff from John Brennan. And you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like those guys, I don't know about other guys, but I know John like held on to a lot of stuff, you know?
John's mom's house had a lot of stuff in the
Yeah.
basement, and John was able to kind of go through those archives. Barry Hensler, too. I think he bought
Mm.
Barry's archive, and Barry had tons of that stuff kind of just sitting around. Like a lot of those guys, because that stuff was valuable. So those guys, I don't think like let it go, but at the same time, I don't think they were hustling selling these things when they were like hundreds of dollars. So now that they're tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, man. I mean, what do you like more, Jan's Room or Vengeance?
Oh man, I think Jan's Room is probably like the songs that I listen to more,
Mm.
but Vengeance is just like a mythical record. What
Yeah.
at this point in my life, there's no way I will acquire one.
No.
So it's just like a chased artifact to me. But the stories about like Pig Champion doing that road trip, trying to find all the old copies, and just Fix Vengeance is almost like shorthand for crazy
Sex
expensive record.
Drive.
Yeah, Sex Drive. I feel like Vengeance though was always like I love the Necros,
Hmm.
but I feel like Sex Drive I don't like as much as IQ 32, and I even like that second seven or the third 7 inch.
Hmm.
Whereas Vengeance is like the better record.
Yeah, I agree. Like Sex Drive music doesn't live up to the mythology, but
Yeah.
Vengeance is, I don't know, man. The Fix are like a perfect hardcore band where it's just two fucking flawless 7 inches. Like it's still early 80s before hardcore is about hardcore. You know what I mean? So every song is a different, you know how like the best hardcore records, it's like every song is about a different, if you have to like, hey, first, I mean, hardcore kids don't exist anymore, but it used to be like, hey, each one of these songs is a different facet of being a hardcore kid. This song is about not wanting to go to war. This song is about fucking hating going to work. This one's about, like all the basic shit about
Yeah.
hardcore before it's like complaining about the scene or whatever the fuck, all their songs are like that. The records look sick. Yeah, and like also they have that awesome thing where like the guitars are like fucking super rock and roll sounding, you know? I love that.
Yeah. It's still like what he talks about, the guys that grew up listening to like hard rock,
Yeah.
heard punk, and we're like, okay, this is it.
And
Where
you know what? Like, and it's played with like style to where a lot of the Boston stuff is played more hard and straightforward and downstroke, pounding,
Mhm.
where the Fix has that. I love the guitars in the Fix because it has that like rock and roll garagey twang. Like it's played with style. They're so sick.
The Dinosaur Jr. guys, like both Lou and Jay, and Murphy even says it too, but like
Mm.
they blame the Minor Threat record. Like after that came out, I guess it'd be the first one that
Hmm.
everyone started trying to sound like Minor Threat. Like they always talk about Skins, Brains, Guts versus Committed for Life with 7 seconds, and how the first record is like you're saying, there's like a style to it. It's like it's still like a punk record, and then after with Committed for Life, it's a lot more just sort of like post Minor Threat kind of influence.
I mean, that's interesting because I mean, I don't get that at all because to me, the guitars in Minor Threat almost get more jangly and kind of intricate as they go on. So, but I guess like when you're in that time frame, you know what I mean? Like it hits a different way. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I think Minor
I get
Threat
it.
was just like such a seismic shift
Shift.
for
Yeah.
people when that came out. Like I love that too. Like it would have been completely word of mouth and fanzines.
Hmm.
Like, have you heard Minor Threat? Like, what do you think of this band? Like, what do you think of this record? And like we're talking about Scared Straight, like the ripple effects of this thing went far beyond just like local scenes where you have bands in California trying to sound like Minor Threat or coming from it. Like I guess Uniform Choice too would kind of be like another kind of after effect of the Minor Threat explosion in California.
Yeah. I mean, uniform choice have to be pretty. Inf- I mean, scared straight sounds like mini uniform choice to me. You know what I mean? Like I hear. I
Yeah, I
don't
bring
know.
it up in the episode to him, and he's kind of dismissive of it. Like he's like, "Oh yeah, they were our like friends. They were like kind
Uh,
of contemporaries to them, I guess." And I
also,
find that
I
band does not
thought.
get a lot of love. I love that band so much, but like
Yeah.
anytime I bring it up to like an older person, they're really disparaging about it.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't know how they were perceived in the scene then, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I think Chris Murphy though was like, "Oh yeah, when you listen to him, it sounds like someone sending Morse code." I'm like, "Oh, that ruined the vocals for me a little bit."
Yeah, because that's what I just kind of that like evolution of that like I don't know West Coast nardcore based kind of vocal pattern like nasally thing that I don't know like it's kind of like I don't know like a surfer version of like Dag Nasty kind of or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
I don't know and it ultimately ends up at Ignite, right? Like
yeah, the final evolution.
yeah, that's that strain of vocals like final resting
Yeah,
places. I love you, man.
that's the best. Like, I love you, man. That's like maybe my favorite vocal part in any song ever.
Oh my God.
I remember buying that CD and listening to it on the subway on the way home, and just hearing that part and just like getting like I don't want to say shivers up the back of my spine, but it was like a combination of douche chills and shivers and
Yeah.
goosebumps. It's like somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah. And then there's the other one on the other record where he's like, I met a boy in Budapest or whatever it is. His movements based solely on the movements of his chin or whatever the hell it was.
I was thinking today about like you know when people are like, oh, it would take me back, like to see like Minor Threat playing, you know, and just everyone going fucking crazy, or to see like Infest playing, or like you know, I'm like, I want to go back and see because I feel like I did get to witness one of these great moments, but I would love to
Mhm.
go back in time and see Pennywise with Zoli singing again,
Mm.
or the Misfits with Zoli singing, which also happened on one tour.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
They played Toronto. It was like it was amazing. It's like one of my favorite shows.
Damn. Yeah, I would like to see that.
It was like they're like because no one knew because Michael Graves hadn't shown up, so there's like this big chugga build up,
Yeah.
and then he comes out in a hockey mask and he's wearing like a Don Cherry plaid jacket type thing. He's like
Wow.
prowling the stage and then takes off the mask and he's like, "Everyone, it's Solely Techless from Ignite." And I was really stoked, but the rest of the room had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
He had blonde hair too. It was very like Richie Ramone kind of vibe for the rest of the band.
Yeah. Or what was the drummer who had blonde hair? Robo? Was it
Rit-
Robo?
oh, in the Misfits,
Yeah.
Robo. He's got black hair, Robo, right? What was it?
There
What's
was
his name for the Continental Crawlers?
mm,
What's his name?
I don't
But
know. There was one specifically that only ever had like bleached blonde hair.
I would also, if I could go back and witness another point in history with another band, I'd love to have seen Bouncing Souls during the funky period.
When were they funky?
Their first 7 inch. It's
Oh,
very Red
really?
Hot Chili Peppers inspired.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they've got like longer hair and it's like very kind of like It's awesome.
Huh.
But that would be like another one that I would love to have like a time machine and go witness. Or, go and see Discharge, but see him after Cal changes his voice.
That would be awesome to see, right? Like
So good.
there's that one bootleg that's like a crowd recording where it's guys like, "Yo, what the hell? This sucks, bro." Like, and there's dudes booing them and stuff.
We played a show in Newcastle once, and this rockabilly band opened for us. And there's this woman that was there with the band, and she says she's the woman on the cover of the Abrasive Wheels album.
Hmm.
But she also says that said that she was there the night Cal changed his voice and said he went to sound check and sang one way and then came back from sound check and sang a different way.
Oh my God, that's funny.
If that's true, it's the greatest story ever.
I uh I haven't talked to him in a while, but I told you that I used to like pen pal with Gary, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and the one time he like stopped and saw me in New York when he was visiting, and I asked him about that. I was like, yeah, like I was like, dude, I love all eras of Discharge. It's really interesting. I was like, what were you guys like going for in those that era, And they can never. He was like, oh, just we all liked Van Halen and Led Zeppelin. No mention of any hair metal or anything like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, did these guys just like I don't know. I don't.
It,
I don't want to. It's just so weird.
it's weird. It's like, but you like when you're in a band, you can totally get it. Like, I can imagine being these guys being like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
let's play like a song like this in practice one day.
Yeah.
And then it just snowballs. And next thing you know, Brave New World.
Yeah. Right. Right. I don't know. I mean, maybe they weren't trying to go full. They didn't realize they were going glam metal and thought they were going hard rock. But I don't know.
It goes some weird places. I'd like, which just to go back to Steve,
Hmm.
I love that his post fix group isn't going to some sort of like rock place or metal place. It's like maybe like a more obtuse, hard to get into band with Strange Fruits, who
Yeah.
are
I
amazing.
never heard them. What are they like?
It's like post punk, but noisy, improvised music, freak
Mm.
out parts. Like they've got a lot of records. They have like a 7 inch and a 12 inch. Then they have a bunch of records under a slightly different name too. Um, I first heard about him because of when Steve Shelley from Sonic Youth was on the podcast. Like I was like researching it, and I'm like, oh my god, Steve Miller from Fix and Steve Shelley had a band together, and yeah, like just ended up talking to him about it, and it's yeah, I got to get these records. They're not that expensive, the Strange Fruit records, but they're
Hmm.
something that just I've never seen in real life.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I mean, yeah, that was cool. Like him just talking about getting into noise and shit like that. There's a couple paths you could take, right?
Yep.
And then obviously Necros took a different path.
Yep. Yeah, well, I think
A
it's
brief path though, right? They corrected very quickly after and became like,
well, Tangled Up. I think that's before they broke up, right? Like they did all those like
yeah,
fun.
I don't even mean like music. Like I just feel like Tangled Up is was like their last record, and that was kind of like a How We Rock type
Yes.
misstep,
Yeah.
But then the next thing I think of when I think of them is like what was the what
Big Chief.
I think of like Motor Booty, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
like which is cool. Like they turn into like kind of like influencers in a way, right? Like
I wonder, like, I've never talked to Barry about Tangled Up, but I wonder if it's like kind of like what Red Cross doing the glam metal thing, and also you kind of see with the Adrenal OD when they're kind of doing the glam metal thing, where
mhm.
it's almost like a parody of the thing by becoming the thing.
I don't think so, man.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I'm giving like it, but I find like Howie Rock, and this is awesome. But Al like was completely earnest
Yeah.
about those records. Like he loves those records. I feel like when you talk to these guys about those records, they're like, no, yeah, that wasn't it. But that
Yeah.
was almost part of the joke.
See, I think the joke is hindsight. I don't think
Yeah.
there was any joke about it when they tried it, and then afterwards, they had different tastes than Al. You know what I mean? So they could be like, that was pretty whack actually. Where Al's like, I don't know, man, I thought it was pretty balls to the wall rock and roll,
Yeah.
because that's what he's all about. But those guys have kind of a broader spectrum of taste, so they
For,
look back on it differently.
See, I was like one of those people that I was like, I fucking hate Tangled Up. But then growing up at full blast, I used to have a flyer for a Necro show with the Goo Goo Dolls opening in from
Yeah.
Toronto. And then when I started listening to those early Goo Goo Dolls records, like the Metal Blade era records, I'm like, oh, that Tangled Up sound kind of makes sense. Like it's almost like
Huh.
everything was kind of going kind of glam metal at that time, or like like replacements rock meets glam metal kind of vibe.
I have to revisit Tangled Up. I haven't heard it in years, so I don't know.
I haven't listened to it in years either, so I gotta go
Yeah.
back and
The
really.
shirt looks cool.
Sure, it looks sick.
Yeah.
I've seen some cool flyers from that era, obviously, like the Goo Goo Dolls one
Yeah.
that are awesome. But I feel like I got to go back and re-listen to it because like I was in terms of egregious about faces that bands have done. I wonder if that one ages better now.
Yeah, I'm wondering that. Yeah.
We could
Because
one day we'll do.
personally, Howery Rock, I think, is terrible.
I've been trying to like it. Like I really
No.
like I listen to it and I really try to. The live stuff I'm starting to like from that era,
Mm.
like the videos that go around where Spring's in that baseball suit
Oh yeah.
uniform.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, that is pretty cool.
it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. But yeah, the music is not DYS though. I like the Bum Out DYS record a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that Fire and Ice?
Fire and Ice, that first song, Late Night. I've always thought of like, I thought that song's pretty sick.
I gotta I don't know. I'm not a big like hard rock guy in the first place anyway, I'm a twee and indie lad. So
One day we should do like a Bum Out record episode and just power rank
yeah.
the best Bum Out records from hardcore bands.
I mean, even just like kind of investigating the relationship between like hair metal and hardcore is interesting, and just finding like the where the hell did Sebastian Bach get a Warzone shirt from?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
That was another band that I would love to go back to a certain period of Warzone during the glam metal period.
Yeah.
Like to see that and just like them interacting with that vibe and that aesthetic.
Yeah, like what year did that record come out?
89, 90? No, it must be later, right? 91.
I it can't be, right?
Yeah.
It has to be at 80s, right? And like Open Your Eyes is like 88, right? Or
Yeah.
it's like crazy how quickly it came out after Open Your Eyes. And then meanwhile, like their victory shit was pretty early 90s, right? Like,
96, I think the first thing's out, right?
oh, really?
Well, there's that split with
Cause for
Cause for
Alarm.
Alarm. That might be 94.
I'm gonna bring it up here. Yeah, you're right, 94. Okay, so Open Your Eyes was 88. The self-titled was 89.
But that's like I think it's in America's Hardcore they tell that story about Harley showing up to an AF gig wearing like a black wig to make fun of them for going metal. And it's like this period where that metal must have just swept New York, like crossover hit New York. All these
Yeah.
new bands are forming, like everyone's scrambling, like what the fuck do we do?
But like to Warzone's credit, they never tried to look metal, right?
Yeah,
Because like the picture on that album, they look hard as fuck.
they
Like
look yeah.
they look fucking cool, So
Yeah, like I would just love to be at one of those shows. Like, would they have just been like, "Fuck it, let's just play the old songs"? I saw
but
Integrity 2000 one time, but all the
but it's
electronics
almost
fucked
all
up.
the same songs, right?
Yeah, yeah. I guess they wouldn't have been like, would they have played other stuff differently? A lot of
I don't know.
questions.
Yeah, a lot of questions. I don't know. Like, and also like, did they what metal? Like, I'm guessing they when they played CBs or something, they played regular, and then maybe when they like opened up for a metal band at L'Amour's or something, they added the sauce.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I don't know, and I also wonder like what metal bands did they open for? Like what did they try that with,
Yeah, like it would have been, it's like a weird period to kind of even think about like other bands like 80. It's funny when you look at like New York, like timeline wise, it feels like, oh, it's such an extended period of time. But like you're saying,
Mhm.
like youth crew into the post youth crew fallout, it's like a year,
Yeah.
like 87 to like 89, right? Like there's like 1 year where even by 88, like Youth of Day's kind of done, Judge is going for the first time, like you've got like a,
So on the other side of things, like from like native New Yorker stuff though, right? Like Killing Time,
yeah,
like they approached metal, pretty, they Bright Side has some major crossover moments on it for sure, right?
yeah. When I was getting into collecting records, I remember like buying a copy of Brightside and like the older punk guy that was at the store being like, "Oh, this is like a metal record, man."
Yeah.
I'm like, well, no, like, but say I got the same speech when I bought the Outburst 7 inch too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that stuff is like the best possible version of crossover is the Killing Time and the Outburst, where it's like it's integrated with the sound and makes the sound heavier.
Yeah. And then you have like Token Entry tried to go like funk metal, right?
Yeah, funk is like a real dangerous thing to introduce to a heavy band.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's a real dangerous ingredient to play with. What's that band Intensity? I think they have a 7, not the Intensity from Sweden. Like this is the American Intensity, and
Yeah.
they've got that part in their song where the guy goes, "Let's get funky,"
Oh my God.
and then the breakdown kicks in.
I mean, I also wonder like what I mean, speaking of like Chuck Treese, like what could have happened, how far Underdog could have went for it, right?
Yeah,
Because I could see them going for it.
yeah, yeah. Like it's interesting when you think about those bands. Like, how would it be different if those bands were like in California, or if there was like a
We talk
label
about this all the
structure?
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I think it would be so. You'd have no fear about going funky.
No,
You'd go super funky.
they be slapping and
Laughing like
tapping.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
uh, and then my favorite moment of the Steve Miller episode was definitely finding out that they played with Meat Joy, who are a band that I've asked, I think, 6 or 7 different people
Yeah,
about.
you
And
always ask people about them. Yeah.
no one knows them. And then finally, I find when those things come through for me, like someone bringing up a Mouse from Dystopia talking about seeing Michael Knott and his Christian punk bands play. I'm like, oh my God, finally. I feel like I've been asking about this shit for years. And then someone sees it. That Meat Joy record is crazy.
I gotta check it out. I just know about it from you talking about it.
It's like, yeah, it's a real weird trip, that record. I think maybe more fucked up and weird than the Butthole Surfers in a different way. Not as
Yeah.
menacing as the Butthole Surfers.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. I mean, what label was their stuff on?
ESR, who put
Oh.
out um fuck, they did that comp, like one of the big Texas comps too, I think.
Mm.
But I think it's a split release with their own label. They all have hand done covers and, the usual collector nerd.
Yeah. Oh wait, no. You know what? I did go and listen to it. Meet Joy. I forgot that I did listen to that. And yeah, that's not for me.
Yeah, some
But
language
yeah,
advisories too before you listen to it. There's at
yeah,
least
for
some
sure.
wild stuff on that. I guess speaking of wild ones, the Kevin Martin episode, which came out entirely from this podcast. Nick,
Yeah,
you
you're
brought it up.
welcome.
Yeah, I gotta say, hats off. We got to get Kevin and Andrew Reich on here. Shout out to Andrew Reich for also making it happen, hearing it on the show and bringing it to the people. It's funny, like it made me think a lot about how much of my pre-internet music knowledge is just legend or sound bites that I would hear someone say and kind of try and construe. And like a lot of times that turns out great and it gets validated later on when you learn about it. But certainly in the case of Candlebox not being from Seattle, like I completely just went with what I heard in interviews with other people, I mean, and then finally researching it, going, oh no, they all, except for Kevin, were originally from Seattle and he moved there when he was like 14.
Yeah. Yeah, it's little stuff like that. I mean, people were looking for shit like that back then to like make some kind of negative myth though, right? Like,
Yeah, like really, I wonder why Courtney Love had it in for that band so much. Like she like specifically was the one that would always say it that like I remember hearing as a kid.
yeah, because they're an easy target, right? And
Yeah.
they could be looked at as like, I don't know, like a grunge post grunge industry plant in a way, right? Like that's probably how she looked at them. And because did they have any track record like before their major label album? No, right? Like
No,
there's no
there,
Candlebox 7 inch.
no. And it's funny because like that to me is always the great mystery. Like if a band has, like Turnstile, like people,
Yeah.
like you can peel back the layers on Turnstile. And they've been around forever doing records on smaller labels, but
Or every other Seattle band.
or every other Seattle band, you're right. Like
Yeah.
but then there's these bands like them, the Killers, Rage Against the Machine, like
Hmm.
these bands that don't have that indie release, but just wind up on that major label. Like I feel like at any point now that would be labeled an industry plant thing, but there's just
Hmm.
a natural way that that could happen back then.
But an industry plant, it's like planted by the industry, meaning what? They were given a deal? Like to me, industry plant is like there has to be some sort of like for that term to really mean what it means. There has to be some sort of like nepotism going on, or like being put together like a boy band or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if a band starts out like fucking Rage Against the Machine or whatever, and a label gets wind of it, and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna, you know, be something. I'm signing them right now." Like, is that a fucking industry plant, or just like so, they were that good right off the bat, and somebody knew? I don't know.
Well, I think also like I say get labeled an industry plant, but I'm like you. I don't think it's a real thing because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, we're all just trying to make music that people will respond to. Like that's why you're doing this thing. If you didn't want people to respond to it, you just wouldn't put it out, or you'd
Yeah,
Jandic it and make it just like a mail order thing. But even then, you're like you just want certain people to respond to what you're doing. But we're all playing the same game, kind of.
yeah. I mean, industry plant is real, but it's like Janelle Monae. You know what I mean? It's like, has anyone listened to Janelle Monae? But for some reason, she's on performing on every fucking award
I
ceremony
saw
until the
Janelle
end of
Monet.
time.
I saw Janelle Monet open for the Arcade Fire.
Really?
Yeah, that was like when her first single came out. She was on like the Arcade Fire tour.
See, I have such a negative connotation to her. I already have in my head this bigwig, like, all right, girl, we're gonna put you out with the arcade fire, right? And that'll get you the indie people, and then we're gonna, rah, 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 I just, for some reason, I have it in for Janelle Monae. Sorry.
Yeah,
Ne- Next week, somebody's like, yo, did you check, yo, Janelle Monae was in a straight edge band in
yeah.
fucking '93.
I think that's the natural thing is to just assume that there's some sort of machination going on behind the scenes that have made this person popular, and that certainly I think Canadian in the Canadian music industry we have it a lot more than you see it in the States because our music industry is so much smaller. So I think it's easier to kind of like make these artists kind of come out of nowhere. But then like as as you go, like and obviously like there's favoritism and all this kind of stuff that can kind of happen, but it really comes down to the songs. And like
Yeah.
we've had so many of these artists in Canada that have been kind of like artificially put into these positions, but if the songs don't hit, it's not gonna happen for them.
Yeah, but I think that is where like industry plant come like people start questioning it, where it's like an artist like has so many chances and never has a hit, nothing sticks, but they
Yeah.
still keep getting like crazy chances. And it's like, what the hell? Like, how is this person not gone away yet? It has to be somebody's nephew. Like that's why I kind of like have a connotation with like nepotism with industry plant in my perception of it.
Well, it's also one generation's industry plant is the next generation's authentic on ramp. Like
Yeah.
Avril Lavigne. Like when Avril Lavigne came out, there was like a newspaper article in the Toronto Star about how they originally planned to make her a country singer. And then they were like, wow, she's into skateboarding stuff. Let's just lean into that and market it all around skateboarding and punk and this whole thing. And that was Avril Lavigne. Um,
Yeah.
but to talk to anyone that got into music because of Avril Lavigne, that doesn't diminish how important she was to their journey.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I feel like I don't know. Avril Lavigne's the one I always kind of think back to on that one because I can kind of remember the Toronto Star, which is our big daily newspaper here, doing an article about how she was kind of planted in the industry as this person. Excuse me. But then I've had people on this podcast that are talking about how they wouldn't be doing music if it wasn't for Avril Lavigne. So
Yeah. I
you
mean,
know, I don't know.
whatever.
Like what you like. It comes down to liking what you like.
Yeah. But that's what I liked about this episode though also was like just kind of like aside from like punk talk, like I like just hearing about a guy like a musician talking about what it's like trying to do it, trying to make it, or like just you know what I'm saying? Like and just him talking about like the negative experience with Mike Mirror and meeting Rollins and like all this stuff like I don't know, it's dope. And you could tell he's like a like a sensitive guy, you know what I mean? Like he was like speaking from the heart. Like you could tell like this shit like being a musician like really matters to him. You know what I mean? Like that's what I liked about this episode the most, where it was like some of the episodes when they break through that kind of like, do you know about this record? Yeah, what about this record? And then are like, yo, this is what it was like when this record came out and this happened and blah blah blah. Like that really connects to me. And like I thought like you and him had a really dope, you know, rapport in that manner.
That's what I like. To me, the big thrill of doing the show is every time you sit down, it's like, what's this guy going to be like?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are definitely some people that I sit down with, and they just don't want to. They just don't want to do it, like or aren't really game for it. But yeah, Kevin came and he was down to talk about it, and I think that's the other thing is like also being honest, like people that are honest with themselves about their career and what they've done and in a good place, like those make for the best conversations, I find. But yeah, I couldn't think of two people more different than Steve Miller and Kevin Martin. But
Mm-hmm.
yet I got to talk to both of them about different shit. So I'm going to keep
Yeah.
doing it. It's not for the accolades, not for the fame. Believe me, it's just for
Yeah.
that thrill.
I mean, both they're similar. I mean, I don't know, like they both have like they're both great vocalists, right?
Yep.
Because the Fix vocals are like just astronomical in my opinion. And when Dennis puts Candlebox on that 90s 20-minute ride on Peloton and it kicks in, you know what I'm saying? And I'm my BPM's at about 92 and he's like, "All right, we're going to add 5 points every 3 minutes." It hits, man.
It's funny. I was at my friend's house the other day, and I was looking at his Peloton bike,
Yeah.
and he was like, "I'm like, are you into that?" He's like, "I love it. I love it so much." And was kind of doing what you're doing now, like breaking down different like coaches and like their playlists. And
Yeah.
I never thought of it, but Peloton is like it's like a community unto itself, like a music community too, and probably more about music than TV at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, shouts to Dennis, shouts to Hannah, my two favorite instructors on there.
Is there anyone that does like a hardcore, like where they're playing like Turnstile and
There's punk ones, like my wife does like pop punk ones and punk ones. I never do those. I'll do like 90s rock, and then the Hannah, she's British, so she'll have like UK garage and you know stuff like that. But yeah, the one guy Dennis, he's like, like I always I always think of him as like, dude, this is the guy when you like go on your honeymoon with your wife and and you're a normal person and you're not like, me and you don't go to Japan and you go to like Hawaii and he's like the yoga instructor at like the Hawaiian like villa or whatever and you're like fuck you know and you don't come back from Hawaii with your wife
So
because
he's your
this
man of war.
yeah yeah basically he's like yeah but he's the
I
man.
Yeah, I think if I had a Peloton class, first of all, it'd be very slow. Wouldn't be a
Mm.
lot of hills on that one either.
Yours would be a well slow is hill slow is a climb ride.
Yeah, but it'd be just a leisurely flat slow ride. And it would only be bands with fat members.
Yeah, okay.
Like that would be the rule. Like you had to have a chubby person in the band.
All
A lot of
right. So
Poison Idea.
we got some Poison Idea. We got some Crowbar.
We got some Crowbar. We've got God.
What's the band with the really fat guitar player? Stacy's mom has got it
Oh,
going
going
on.
on. What are they
Yeah.
called? I don't think I'd play them though.
No, of course
No.
not. But they do have a fat member.
They do have a fat member.
Shouts
Yeah, it
to
would
that
have to
guy.
be it'd be like a really tightly regulated fat
Okay.
member thing. Tad would be on it.
Tad. Yeah.
A lot of Tad.
Heavy D.
Heavy D. A lot of heavy D. Rest in peace.
Yeah, of course. Speaking of heavy vocalists, this I get a text the other night from this guy, my buddy Nick, who I worked with for a little bit back in the day. He used to own a sneaker store in New York called Classic Kicks, and he's just like a guy he's a few years older than me. He's from like North Jersey, and is like heavy into Grateful Dead and like Fish and that whole world. You know what I mean? He's like really like a pop culture guy, so he like knows what punk and hardcore is just from that. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
and just like growing up in the 80s and 90s and stuff, and like every person our age, like he had like a Mike McGill skateboard in the 80s, and knows about like good hip hop and stuff from growing up in New York and shit like that. So he's like and he's like super into. First of all, I think a lot of like jam band dudes are like really into dance hall and reggae. So
Definitely huge
yeah,
crossover. I might have
yeah,
something to do with the weed.
yeah, definitely. So we connect musically on that on dance hall and reggae and stuff. But he's also just like fucking hilarious. Like I love this guy. He fucking texted me out of nowhere the other day. He's like, yo, I'm with Zach and Puda from Bulldoze. And also like he's from North Jersey, but like nice North Jersey. You know what I mean? Like I've
Yeah.
been to his parents' crib, like you know what I mean? Like a nice neighborhood and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, why? And he's like, um, class reunion, high school reunion. I
It's awesome.
was like, dude, don't let them see your phone right now, but like between me and you, blah blah blah, and I'm just like explaining to him like what bulldoze represents and stuff, and he's like, "Oh," he said, he goes, "Sounds appealing." I was just like, "Yeah, like that at time, like I was like, at that time, like hardcore, like everywhere else in the United States was basically like now, like super PC, and and then in New York, it was just like skinheads trying to murder each other." And then he was like, "Sounds appealing."
New like when you think about it, more of the hard bands come out of New Jersey that are associated with New York, or at least the members are right.
I mean, like New Jersey at that time, like yeah, like the beat down thing. I think you're right. Was like really
Fury of
perfected.
Five and all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like
like Purify. There's that band, Denied, Second to None. All that stuff. But I mean, Kev One was from New York, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, but everyone else was from New Jersey and Bulldoze, right?
yeah. Rogers from Jersey originally
Yeah.
too. I know that's like a different era, but
Hmm.
it feels like New Jersey's like a lot of these bands where I'm like, oh, they're a New York band, and then only to find out that like, oh, they're all New Jersey dudes.
Yeah. I mean, even like 25 to Life, and then even PA, like Crutch, Mushmouth, like that kind of, that all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, like what ones were actually from New York? I mean, there was like obviously like Irate, who are like you could make a documentary on Irate. Like they're such an interesting band. I did like a deep dive on them like pretty recently because there's like a band that there's like a Irate side project band that's just like straight death metal, but their imagery and their song titles were like just straight like Bronx hip hop shit. They're so cool. You know what I mean? It's not my thing, you know what I mean? Because I'm
yeah,
not like a metal or death metal guy, but like it's fucking awesome, It's just these guys that just like look like they're like MTA workers
yeah.
making
Like
like death metal.
who are the New York Dark Side NYC
Hmm.
would have been there. Madball,
Neglect,
obviously.
neglect.
Neglect, neglect though. Is it neglect from New Jersey?
Ooh, I don't know.
Because Sarah Burns, when she was on this podcast, she like grew up with those guys, and she had neglect play her parents' garage when she was a kid.
They're from Lindenhurst,
Okay,
so they're from New York.
okay, they must have because I thought she was New Jersey, but she must be from around there in New York then. Because they played her garage. She sent me some photos that looked ridiculous in the early '90s.
They played her garage.
Yeah,
There's those videos of bands playing like somebody's like backyard, like Marauder and 25 to Life and Breakdown. You ever see those?
yeah. Well, because that's
They're
the thing is
awesome.
like that stuff was so unpopular back then. Like Breakdown played Toronto. There were 15 bands on the bill, including my band Starting Block.
Yeah.
And there were more people in the bands than were there to see the show. And you can't blame the promoter for that at that point because I think it was just where hardcore was at. Like,
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I would like, it would be funny to explain this to like hard lore guys. You know what I mean? Like, this is like a time where like people like probably, yeah, you're like, they can't fathom it, right? Like,
yeah, like these bands, which, like, what was it? Stigmata, Blood for Blood, playing in Toronto at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon because Promise Ring and Grade were going to be playing at the same venue later on that night. The show got double booked by former Turn It Punk guest Dan Burke, and at that show, they Stigmata and Blood for Blood played to maybe 10 of us were there.
wow.
It was nuts. They were pissed. Even they had been to Toronto, and that was the thing. That was like Blood for Blood's third time in Toronto, and none of the shows prior to that had, to me, given any indication that this is a city we should definitely come back to. I was glad, but no.
They I mean, Blood for Blood, the end of their existence, they were very popular,
Very, yeah,
So
yeah.
they stuck around long enough to enjoy some success.
And they kind of got like it's interesting, like H2O exploding. H2O brought Madball on tour.
Hmm.
Freddie's all over the record. Like I feel like that introduced like a whole pop punk generation to Madball. And then so Madball had the record. Maybe the 7 inch on Victory had just came out, and they did a tour with Blood for Blood opening. And it feels like after that, Blood for Blood was kind of made in Toronto,
Mm.
but that was like their fourth time in the city.
How big were H2O really though?
At one point, huge. Like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, like at one point they were headlining like the Epitaph Summer Nationals. Like they would say that they were, without the media support, because there was no real mainstream media support till later for them. But I would say they were almost like Turnstile kind of vibe for kids back then, like a band that a lot of kids, like myself included, like being a kid that was into pop punk, this
Hmm.
band repping New York hardcore, I'm like, oh, this makes sense to me. They talk about Youth Crew, they're straight edge, they they're a pop punk sounding band. Like there was a lot of kids that I think were kind of getting into them or on that Blackout record, but more that Thicker Than Water record that came out because they did the Warp Tour like 2 or 3 years in a row and kind of stole that show.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember them being that big. Like I guess maybe I was like blind to it.
Yeah, I think you're also like in the same way California functions differently when it comes to this stuff. I find like
Yeah.
the Northeast in the US kind of functions a little bit differently.
Hmm.
But they were being courted by Madonna. Like Madonna was trying to, or maybe it was a Madonna, some major label was trying to sign H2O around
Yeah,
that
like
time.
what was her label? Matador or whatever?
Maverick.
Maverick, yeah. Matador.
Matador.
Matador. Yeah, Maverick. Uh
I
yeah,
wish
I
it
don't
was.
know.
I wish it was Matador. That would have been way
Yeah.
cooler.
H2O on Matador would be
H2O and Matador would have been fucking amazing. That would have
fucked up.
been. Uh, and they were New York, so that could have happened. Unsane was on Matador, so anything can happen.
Unsane is a pretty interesting band. But yeah, anyway, that's
this,
another.
is, this is a whole other episode. Okay, we should probably get to our three things.
Okay, yeah.
We could talk about that. I'm sure we'll wind up talking about this stuff again. But
Yeah, of course.
do you want to go first? Because I think I went first last time.
Yeah, I'll go first. Okay. I have three things here. The first thing is a bag from Flower Records.
Oh wow,
Um, those unfamiliar. Is that showing up good
it's
on
showing
here?
up good.
Okay. Flower Records is like a record store in I mean this is such a it's so weird like the cover this I forgot that this is what's on the bag. Chris Smither don't it drag on like a label of a record. I don't know that record, do you?
No,
Okay. I'll have to look it up and I wonder what the significance of that is. But yeah, it was a record store in Nakano Broadway in Tokyo, and it was just like you'd go to the second floor in this weird building and you would like look, you know, you're approaching, it's like down this hall and you see it just in the door and it's just like you've been there, right?
I went to it one time, but I didn't buy anything.
Okay. It's just like once you start looking in, you're like, what the hell? This can't be the place. And it's just like stacks and stacks and stacks and boxes of like, it's like something straight out of like the show Hoarders. You know
Is
what I
there
mean?
records on the ceiling too? There,
Yeah. So
yeah.
it's, you have to walk through this like, and it got worse and worse as the years went on. You know what I mean? It became harder and harder to go in there, and the floor started sinking in and shit, which is most of the reason why it closed, I heard. But yeah, there'd be 7 inches and CDs thumbtacked to the ceiling and you would like and then there'd be like just shit everywhere, like everywhere you would look you would just move something and be like, whoa, that is that and you know what I mean, like fucking everywhere, like stacks and stacks of like Doll magazine and Burst magazine and like weird demos that you weren't you're I'm like, damn, should I just buy all of these because I don't know what the fuck they are, you know, like everything, you know what I mean. And like I learned, well, like I would go there with a list eventually because you couldn't, you'd have to ask them, you know, do you have, you know, the execute, you know, second 7 inch. You're like, one moment, and he would like disappear for 20 minutes and come back. No. Okay. Do you have the Swankies? Well, then he'd come back 20 minutes later. You know what I mean? To the point where, you know, my wife would be like, yo, I'm never going there again. Like, what the fuck? So I would, I would come with a list and that would make it easier. But, it's the kind of place where it's like, I would just like to go there. Like, and even if I didn't buy anything, you know, or it was just sick to go in and see the guy. But there's also like a story of like Suck Heavy coming and beating the dude up and like tearing the place up because he heard somebody bought a Gizm bootleg from there, so he was scared of Suck Heavy like everybody else. But yeah, it was I love that place.
Yeah, there's this. Uh, I think it was in a magazine I saw that some record collector had his whole back wall covered in record bags from different stores, like stores that
Mm.
had gone defunct. and it was such a cool aesthetic. I've got like two framed bags, one from Wuhan prison records in Wuhan, China, and then I've got
Mm.
one from Vinyl Museum in Toronto framed. But I wish I kept more of that stuff. Record shopping in Japan is like I dream about it still. I have dreams about going back and just like just how much I think that's like my favorite thing when I look back on all the traveling I've done in the band is like just different crazy record stores that you went into and hung out
Mm.
at. There's a store in Nottingham that was like flower levels, but like less organized. And you'd be like, "Do you have any punk records?" And he'd pull like a record, and the whole thing would come crashing down on him from the ceiling. But yeah, like I dream of going back record shopping to Japan. I
I hear
miss it.
you. Whenever like I'm about to go, I always like I'll look at every like Disc Union and HMV like Instagram posts and like pinch and zoom on like the background to see like what records are on the wall and
Same,
stuff.
same. I love it, and I love like zooming on the price tags of stuff. And like, yeah, there's no way I'd be able to afford that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Close it again. All right, this is the craziest thing I've ever found in the wild.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, we found a couple years ago out here. There's like a woods out back, and I was walking with Lauren and the kids, and we found like a complete, not a complete, but an animal like killed a deer, and it was almost like completely picked away by nature. And so I got this head out of
sick.
the pile of bones that were left there. And everyone that I've ever met from up here is like that. Never heard about that. Never seen anyone find a deer head just in the wild like that. Well, do you want to go for your next one?
First of all, I'd like just to comment on that and say perforated parts are like triggering my trypophobia.
Is that what it is? Yeah, it's pretty freaky looking in that part. Like, yeah. Well,
Okay.
would you okay? Show your thing.
My other thing, a um a what are these called? Not pamphlet program for the second annual David Von Erich
What?
parade. Yeah.
Damn, that's fucking awesome.
I wish it was a first for the first one, but I don't know if that exists. But yeah, it is pretty awesome. I'll flip through it real quick.
Oh, that's wicked.
Uh,
Who wrestled on that one? Like, is there like,
well, there's Terry Gordy there on the back.
yeah, they've
So
got like the card for the Parade of Champions in there. Like, who do they bring in any guys?
yeah, it's Scott Casey and Brian Adias. Wait, yeah, and then Kelly and Nick Kaniski, Terry Gordy versus Kamala, Johnny
Oh,
Mantell versus Skip Young. This is the historic one where Kerry Von Erich came back. Yeah, and he did one man gang, and then there was this is sick. Great Kabuki and Hercules versus Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams,
oh,
which
that's
is
awesome.
that's the best. But yeah, main event was Ric Flair and Kerry Von Erich, obviously. Yeah, but then also what came in here was
Did you buy that on eBay or did you get it at a store?
I got it at some
Oh,
newspaper
fuck.
clippings were in here as well. Here's Kamala.
Oh, that's awesome.
Twice a year here, there's the Allentown Paper Show. I think your connection is good now, by the way.
Okay.
But yeah, it's called the Allentown Paper Show, and it's like an hour north of Philly, and it's just like, uh, a paper show. It's like sellers, actually like it's like 60% postcards, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just weird old people flipping through postcards. But it's like stamps, old letters, old found pictures, posters, magazines, and for some reason there's like a lot of wrestling stuff, so I've gotten some dope stuff, and I've gotten a really sick punk thing that I'll probably show off in our next episode. But yeah, it's ill. So I got it off of this one guy who was a an old um Philly punk dude who used to tattoo at Philadelphia Eddie's on
Okay.
South Street
Yeah,
back in
yeah.
the day. Yeah, and he now he's just like just like a collector dude, and he's just like looks like a weird old guy. He's the man though, and he always has cool stuff. I sent you pictures of like those like photos, like the
Yeah.
80s photos. Like I got those from him at like another thing
Uh,
like a year before I got this.
yeah,
So
you
I
still have to
got
do that zine.
yeah, man. Do you have any wrestling photos?
I've got stuff from the wrestlers that I took when we were making the show, but
Okay.
and I got like, a couple things from the crowd, but not like you got.
Okay.
I
All
don't want
right.
to spoil the zine for
All right. All right. So
when you
it'll
do
just be
drop
my
that thing.
it'll just be my zine. Okay.
Yeah, because
All
your
right. Well,
zine, you got a lot of shit to go in there.
okay. Yeah, yeah. I forgot about that zine. All right. That zine's coming. All right. Well, what's your next
Okay, well, I want to maybe I'll keep it
then?
magazines and do my third thing, the other weird thing. So, Lauren's uncle Andrew, who's passed away now, Andrew Weiner, was like a science fiction writer. Wrote like a lot of cool science fiction stuff, but because of that, he was a huge science fiction collector. So
Mm.
they have, I don't know, I'm going to show them all, but they've got like 50 issues of this zine called New Worlds, and it was a
Whoa.
speculative fiction fanzine, science fiction fanzine about science fiction. And there's a couple of science fiction articles. They've got like a bunch of different writers, big name writers, but some of the graphics in this thing are incredible. This is from the late 60s, and I don't think it's this one. Oh yeah, this is the one. It's got like a piece about Warhol. It's from the 67, this issue.
Whoa.
And it's like an interview with him. I think he mentions the Velvet Underground in here, or maybe I'm completely making that up. I haven't read this issue in a while, but it's a super cool zine. This one, they all have wicked covers. This one looks like a hardcore record, or like a maybe a Japanese crust record.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, there's like cool graphics inside too. I don't know, like I feel like science fiction was another feeding place for a lot of the early punk rock stuff. It's like Rocky Horror Picture screenings and
Mm-hmm.
like various music things. But I think science fiction, like if you look at Greg Shaw's Bomp, pre-Bomp
Mm-hmm.
stuff, it was all science fiction fanzines, right? And there's a lot of
Yeah.
science fiction writers that would wind up going into punk rock, a lot of punk records about Doctor Who and stuff. But there's occasionally music things in this magazine too. This graphics is cool on this one.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's like tons of issues of this thing.
Is it is it Canadian?
No, it's British.
It's British. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, UK was like sci-fi heavy, right?
super.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like this. This one looks very much like C3PO.
It's not?
No, it's from like 68. But this one also has a Philip K. Dick article about Einstein.
Wow.
Yeah. Ooh. But this one's got a cool graphic too.
Damn.
Anyway, this is I'm not a huge science fiction reader, but just flipping through these things, reading the articles, obviously when it crosses over to music stuff. This is the one that has this cool ass comic strip
Yeah,
in
that's
there
dope.
too. All right.
Huh.
Oh,
That's I wonder if any of those are on archive.org. I'll have to check it out.
yeah, I wonder actually. I gotta go through all these too, because it's been a couple years since as I say, flip through them like that. But oh, this one's got an article about Salvador Dali in it. Look at that
Whoa.
cover.
Yeah. That could be
Actually,
the
would be
cover of my new ambient record I'm working on.
it does look like that. Like, this is yeah, he's got a lot of cool magazines too, a lot of cool zines and stuff. So I knew when I got up here, I'm like, oh, I can easily make this work with stuff from up here, not from
You know
up.
what's weird also? Like it has the word new in it and it looks like it's like the same font as New Balance, like the New Balance
It
logo.
does. Yeah, it does look a lot like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I find the design of it looks way later than the
Right.
60s too.
Yeah, it looks modern, man.
Looks like
It's
early 80s even or something
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Like, yeah, it's but this one actually has the July 67 on the cover. Oh,
Damn.
this is the wicked cover too. I can flip through. As I say, I'm not going to show them all as I'm now showing them all. But this
Huh.
one's got a badass cover.
Yeah, that one's a little more badass looking.
And yeah, this one, I think 67. All right.
Do you see yourself becoming just like a sci-fi person when you get older and just like,
That's my post.
yeah,
I think there's no way I stop
punkin?
punking. Like I just think there's just too many threads to keep pulling on. Who
Mm.
knows though? I might get real like down some like real weird rabbit holes, you know.
Yeah, I
Robert
don't know.
Forbes level.
Yeah, you never know.
Did you shout out to Demystification magazine, but did you read the last issue of Demystification?
No, I didn't know.
Dude, it's got an amazing interview with Robert Forbes.
Huh.
And for those who don't know, Robert Forbes wrote the Death in June book, wrote
Yeah.
the history of extreme right wing music. These don't paint him as a lovely person, but he's a lovely guy. And his new book is going to be a 2-volume series looking at underrated late 80s, early 90s American punk, American hardcore bands. Like he's
Really?
talking about Positive Approach and bands like
Huh.
that. He's like I think it's a really under heralded period in American music, and I think there's a lot of bands. So I'm going to work on this sort of like opus about this period of American underground music. I
Someone
think
told me he has a Cold World 7-inch.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like when I was like talking to him, like the records he was looking for, he's like, I really want a Soul Swallower on Purple. And
Really?
yeah, he was like, he was very specific about the records he wanted, but I would love to see his collection because that's the thing is like you can go to like someone's collection. It's like, oh wow, you cool. You got all the touch and goes, you got all the discords. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
But like you go to someone's collection and it's like weird shit, like stuff you haven't heard of, or then
Yeah.
like records that you think like, why would anyone who's got all this great stuff also be into this? Like, that's the kind of
Mhm.
record collection I want to go through.
Yeah. And I mean, look, sketchy records look sick, you
Some
know?
sketch. I think, but he's also got like the Positive Approach 7-inch, right? He's
Right,
probably got
right,
like
right,
every
right.
Death in June record, but then
Well,
he's
that
also got
that's fine because you even it out. You like, for every sketchy record, you have a
balance it.
not, yeah, you balance it, you know,
He's like, he's got every record on this dodgy label, but he's also got every 7-inch on Inner Journey. So there,
balance it out.
balance it out. All right, what's your third thing?
My third one, I'm gonna keep it local. This is a demo from a 90s northeastern Pennsylvania band called Chamber.
Oh,
Um, I recently got this, or not recently. I was Bob Mack, the guy who put on Posy Numbers and
put out the first Cold World 7-inch.
put out the cool, yeah, Walk All Night records and stuff. Sent me this with some other stuff, other odds and ends a few years back. I had this when it came out because I was friends with these guys, but it's so cool to have one again. And they were just kind of like like Converge, Coalesque, Ascension, Chaos. I remember they were obsessed with Neurosis,
Mm.
you know, but they were straight edge guys at the time too. And yeah, I don't know. They thank me and my little crew in the thanks list and stuff. But anyway, I ripped it and it wasn't on Discogs, so I was able to add it to Discogs and I ripped it and got it posted on Sweet Baby Jesus YouTube channel, which I'm sure everyone all the listeners are familiar with. So look it up on
What I don't know
YouTube.
what's Baby
Oh,
Jesus.
Sweet Baby Jesus, you don't know that YouTube channel?
No, I'm not a YouTube. I like I don't really know much about YouTube.
Oh, okay. He's just like his channel is just like it's just like every random demo and 7-inch, like lots of 90s stuff, splits, just like weird shit that isn't posted anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And you could send him stuff and he'll post it. And yeah, he posted it. And then recently somebody on Discogs reached out to me and said that they're trying to reissue it on a CD or something, and they asked me to scan the insert for it. So I don't
What?
know.
That's like the most insane
I know, really weird. Yeah.
thing. Wow. A
Yeah.
CD reissue.
I know it's weird. I don't know, but look, it's 2025. Kids are doing weird shit,
Yep.
you know, because this isn't an older dude. I think it's a younger kid who's doing it. But anyway,
There's
yeah.
there's demos that to me, like forget Fix Vengeance. Like there are demos from Toronto that
Hmm.
I want so badly, but there's no way I'll ever see one. Like
Yeah.
Sandy's band before fucked up SNI. Like I never see a tape of that. That thing just doesn't exist.
Yeah. I'm the same way with Wilkes-Barre demos. I really want the original version of the Burial Ground demo, and there's a couple other Wilkes-Barre hardcore bands that I would do anything for their demos.
I might know someone with the Burial Ground demo.
I have there's like a later one,
Does yours
like
have the
the
coin stuck on it in the inside?
no,
With
mine
an
doesn't have
insert with
that.
like a little coin glued to it?
Oh, that's what yours has that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like numbered. I bought it at a Sketchy Dan show,
Mm,
from a distro in Montreal one time, way back
interesting.
when. No longer Sketchy Dan. Sorry,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
regular Dan.
Regular Dan.
Um, well, my third item is really weird. This
Okay.
is a
Weirder
card.
than a deer skull?
I guess this might be weirder than the deer skull.
Okay.
This is a card that Lauren's grandmother sent to her grandfather. I think I'm trying to date it but I think it's like early 1930s.
Whoa.
It's a Mickey Mouse. It's got to be one of the first Christmas cards that Disney produced.
Holy
Crazy the
smokes.
condition of this thing.
Yeah.
There's no date on the back. It's got like copyright information, but
Mhm.
it's pre Lauren's mom being born. So it's got to be early 30s or mid 30s, maybe. But that would be really early into them producing licensing. I know Disney was super into licensing right away, but this has got to
I
be like an
mean,
early one.
you could just see like the lines in his face are like way like thinner,
Yeah.
like it's obviously.
And it's also like the way the card's made, even too, like
Mhm.
where you've got these extended bits connecting the two sections. But yeah, like just they've got a few. I guess they would send Disney cards back and forth to each other, and they're all like this era of illustration of Mickey.
Wow.
But yeah, the condition of it too, like it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
it makes me just want to hold on to everything.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff you see at that Allentown paper show I was talking about, and dude, I love old stuff. The older I get, the more I'm just like fascinated by anything old. I could
Yeah,
just look at an old fucking soda can forever and just be like, wow.
I
I
think
don't
it's
know why.
because I think it's like, especially now as we're retreating away from physical things. Like I was just thinking, like when I got here, I'm like, oh my god, what am I going to talk about on this show? I'm like, oh, they got tons of shit. Like
Yeah.
people just have stuff, but now you're
Mhm.
like, I just imagine my kids doing a version of this podcast, going over to my house after I've sold everything. It's just like some IKEA furniture, some
Yeah.
MP3s, maybe. Not even now. Just you don't even own the MP3. You just stream the song, and that's
I
it.
know. Yeah. Like, yeah, as time goes on, like, yeah, like, will people have stuff? I don't know.
Going over to someone's house and just like looking through their collection is like one of my favorite things to do. Like it's just fun. But now, and I imagine like going over to other adults' houses in different eras would have been fun because they would have had like a record collection. Oh, these are all the books
Yeah.
you're into. That's cool. But now you go over to someone's house and it's like
There's nothing.
nothing. Yeah, like pictures of their kids. Like, who the fuck cares about that? Like, I got my own kids. Like,
Yeah.
it just yeah. Like, there's not like
Or like everyone has the same shit,
the same stuff. Yeah,
you know?
yeah. A lot of people are and everyone's yeah like engaged with the same movies, music. Like, there's not as much personality in put into what you like now.
Yeah, and I'm not even like one of those kind of people that are like, I won't have any IKEA furniture or any,
No,
whatever. I'm not like that.
expedite
But
life.
yeah, of course, I'm not like Sammy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Only vintage. Oh, IKEA up to 1972 is okay. I'm not like that, but I don't know.
I like, yeah, like I just want to. I don't know. I just like, and it's like it's not about having expensive stuff, or
Right.
it's
Yeah.
just like stuff that's reflective of your personality and
Yeah. I mean, like, dude, like this chamber demo,
yeah,
this is, this is, it's not worth anything,
yeah,
but I'm the only one who has it on Discogs.
yeah,
Like, and to me, it's like priceless, because it's just like I remember when I would had this in my car for like 2 years straight and would listen to it, like that, that's you can't buy that.
yeah. I remember after Alan Riches passed away, who was in Smegheads with Ben from No Warning and used to being fucked up.
Hmm.
I gave him my copy of the Smegheads demo because he gave his copy to Alan's parents. And I'm like, well, I'll never see that ever again. And then luckily, Nathaniel, Lauren's cousin, had a copy and gave it to me. But otherwise, these things are kind of priceless because people didn't hold on to them. Like and it's also like priceless because in someone else's hands, it would be just tossed into the garbage.
Yeah.
Like me having the chamber demo would mean nothing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I saw this picture today on like one of those memes that you gets passed around, and it's I guess Bob Dylan went to Andy Warhol's house, and Andy Warhol gave him a Elvis screen, the double silver Elvis screen, and he's like walking out with this thing, and then I guess they're photographing him trying to get it into the car, and then realizes he can't get it on the car, so he's just like got it on the roof, and he's got his hand on it, and his buddy's got the hand on the other side, and it's
Wow.
like, yeah, to him it was just like some painting. Like you have it's the value is not intrinsic to the artifact. It's like we put the value into the artifact. And so a
Yeah.
chamber 7 inch, a chamber demo is equal in importance and value to you, maybe more than a fixed vengeance 7 inch.
Let's not go crazy.
Like,
If anybody wants to trade a chamber demo for a fixed vengeance, holler at your goddamn boy.
but there's no way you're going to get the same. Like, you get like I guess the external thrill of knowing that you've got something of incredible value, but there's no way it would give you the same emotional thrill that the chamber demo's going to give you.
Yeah, that would. I would get an emotional. Yes, it would.
Okay,
So,
fine. Maybe not the fixed vengeance. Maybe we got to pick something a little more
yeah, we're
reasonably
talking fixed
priced.
vengeance. That's yeah. No, come on, man. Get real. Get real, buddy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, I take that back.
Shouts to chamber.
Shout out to
You know.
Chamber. Shout out to Fix. Shout out to New World Science Fiction Fanzine.
Yes.
Um, but I think that's it. Like we made it through the internet storm. We made it.
Hmm.
We made it, buddy. We did it.
Yeah. Shouts to everyone
Shout out to
watching.
everyone. Rest in peace,
Let's get
Bill.
some YouTube comments popping
Yeah,
off.
like there's
I
no
want to see.
reason you should
Yeah.
be listening to this audio version. Like if you're listening to the audio version of this, you're
Yeah.
fucking up.
Or even if you're the audio version on YouTube,
There's an
hit us
audio
with
version.
some hit
Yeah.
us with comments. I just that's look. I'm a graphic designer. I'm sitting on YouTube all day running podcast after Jim Cornette shoot after podcast. You know they got they got comments popping off. Hardlore got fucking hundreds of comments. I like Marauder too. Let's hear your comments.
I hope people start writing about how much they like Marauder too.
Yeah. Hey,
You know what you need
dude.
to do? You need to just run down modern wrestling. You just need to just cut
Mm.
down everyone's achievements, everyone's work. Fuck Jim
Speaking of
Cornette.
Marauder, I lost track of my favorite Marauder video on YouTube. If anyone could send it to me, I literally went to the end of a Marauder YouTube search the other day looking for it to where there wasn't any more videos, which I didn't even know could happen. I thought it would just keep feeding them to you. But there used to be this Marauder video where they're playing like it's in New Jersey, I think, and it's like it looks like a basement or something. It's a weird venue, and in the audience moshing is Kev One is in the audience, and I want to say Ryan from Desperate Measures is in the audience, um, and a couple other notable guys, and Saab has two Japanese girls behind him on stage. It's so sick. It's like the sickest Marauder video, but I can't find it. If anybody knows it, could please DM it to me on Instagram, please.
Is
Maybe
it
it's on Vimeo or Google Video or something, and I don't remember that.
Internet Archive or something?
Yeah.
There was like, was it in the Creepy Crawl live video or record where he's like, last time we played here, two kids got broken legs.
Oh yeah.
Don't fucking disappoint us. We don't stop till the violence starts, you dig? Like, that's the best banter record ever. I love that thing.
Wasn't there like a Paul Bearer just banter record? Or am I
Yeah.
making it up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's all banter. There's also a Danko Jones all banter record too.
I always thought that someone could make a hood rack one of
A
those.
hood rack one would be that would be amazing. Yeah.
You know who they can't make one of those for? Dan Mills. Because anytime, whenever something's happening, someone's tuning, I look up for my drums and I look through his eyes and see right into the back of his skull. And
Oh,
there
no.
isn't.
That's one of my favorite front people ever. But
Nah,
yeah,
he's the
he's
greatest.
got who? Yeah, there's a lot of people that I would not want to hear a banter record from on stage,
Yeah.
myself included. Like,
Yeah, same. I
yeah,
wouldn't be a good banterer,
no,
that's for sure. So shouts to Dan. He has the courage, man.
yeah, Dan definitely has said some of my favorite things ever on stage at times too.
Yeah.
Oh, well, buddy, thank you for doing this with me. So my parents and my parents, my kids don't have to hear me do it
Of
to them.
course.
But everyone, leave comments. You can find us on our social medias, and we will be back in 2 weeks to talk about more shit that we have in our house and episodes.
Yep. Peace.